Hello everyone, welcome to Kevin's Corner. We're here in a different corner today. Hopefully you like this one. Thank you all for joining us. If this is your first time tuning in, I'll just go over the format briefly, which is I'm going to talk about a topic in elder law, estate planning, or estate administration for somewhere around 5 minutes. They tend to be longer than that, but roughly speaking around that much time. If you have a question or something you want me to talk about, you can either post it to the video feed or you can send it an email, make a comment. Just get it to us through maybe even our website, galliganmanning.com, and then I'm happy to talk about it, if not today, in some future topic. I thought today what we would do is I wanted to talk about an elder law topic because I haven't picked one in a while, and I thought we would talk about one that comes up more frequently than we would like, which is the financial exploitation of our older loved ones. And this is something that everyone has heard of. People will certainly see the news reports about it, and everyone knows that it can happen. And so what I want to talk about was one, I guess you should say kind of what we're talking about, what kind of exploitation we're trying to deal with, and then ways to try to prevent it. And then ultimately, if you do encounter it, ways to try to resolve it or solve it as best you can. So I figured first we'd start with what it is we're talking about. Everyone knows as people age, they may not be able to keep things organized. They may be a little bit more susceptible to people who are financial predators, scammers. And that's certainly the case. And it's also true, I don't think I probably need to quote it, but our population is getting older and older every day. We have a lot of baby boomers retiring, people who live longer and longer. And what that really means, if you put yourself in the shoes of a scam artist, is a bigger and bigger pool of victims with more money than they've had before. So it becomes an issue where this is a problem for people now and will continue to be probably more in the future. And it's also important, I think, sometimes to recognize that people think of a third party who will randomly come forward and kind of like the old emails you used to get. You could donate here to fund, the Prince in Africa's revolution or whatever they used to do. It could be that, but a lot of times now it's a lot of products and services that people just don't need, they end up buying. Or it could be someone wants, gifts. And for that reason, too, it's not always a stranger who's the one doing this. Sometimes it's family members who maybe prey upon or take advantage of their loved one in their relationship, and the person is too afraid to, or doesn't know how to say no, or doesn't really think about how much money or benefit they're giving someone. And they start basically being abused financially by giving away everything they own. So it could be a lot of things, unfortunately, but we're going to talk about some steps that will hopefully prevent or help cure those things. So I figured, as I always try to do it, I'm going to break it down into 3 categories. First is what can you do to try to prevent it? The clearest cut way is to get involved early. If you watched a video from, I guess it was a few weeks ago now, we talked about how to have the talk. This is sort of a similar thing. It's helpful to go to your elderly loved one and say, maybe you're getting a little bit older now, I'd like to help with the finances. And it's not, go back and watch that video. It's not being too paternalistic. It's not saying I need to take it over. It's not I'm taking the keys to the finances or here's what we need to do. It's a way of supporting and being empowering. It may not be as easy for you. I'd like to help. Can I go through the statements with you? Can I help just keep track of the finances? Can I take you to your CPA to get the tax returns done? That's a good way to find out things that are an issue. Or maybe can we start looking at your line of credit, or your credit score somewhat routinely? You'll see something that's surprising. I actually had a client a number of years ago who came into money towards the end of their life and capacity was clearly waning. I happened to be there for, I think it was a document signing in their home, and saw the statement sitting out for the credit card. And it was a stunning number. And it was pretty much, I asked her as nice as I could about it, and it was pretty much QVC purchases. Just anything they saw on TV, just ordered, not thinking about how much money that actually was, and just not really having a concept of what they still owned and how they were going to pay for it. So it could be things like that, not so much exploitation as just a lack of control. So starting early, taking a look at things like the finances, supporting and helping with the finances, reviewing the statements as they come in, looking at the credit score, etc., is a really good way of preventing any problems because you're always checking. Number 2 is just have some protections in place. Some of it is the things you'd expect me to say. Have a power of attorney. have something so that when that person is incapacitated, another person just takes over their finances. They already have access to the information potentially, and they have the ability just to start taking it over. So the adult child who's going to help care for the elderly loved one can already start making the financial decisions, can assist with the financial decisions in a very real way, so that there isn't any loss of money, there isn't a mistake, there isn't an exploitation. So that's a very good, easy way to do it. There are also a lot of maybe indirect or softer ways to do it, especially as people age, and this doesn't fit everyone, but sometimes works, is some banks will do alerts. You can kind of put a cap on large transactions. It may not be a bad idea later to try to reduce a credit limit on a credit card so that it can't just be used indefinitely, something like that. Some way just that the money isn't spent quite so freely, so no big transactions happen. You can be watchful for it and hopefully prevent it from happening in the first place. So then after that, the third thing is to kind of stay informed and make sure you deal with it if something does happen. Now this could be, going to your elder law attorney, right? Watching things like this and learning about the issues that are out there and the ways you can cure it. It could be, unfortunately, because of the amount of elder law abuse that there is in this country, there are, well, maybe happily, the response has happened. There's attorney general's offices in many states that have either elder law watchdog groups, or they have public education about the scams elders are facing at that time. I saw recently here in Harris County that the Attorney General's office did a series of speaking engagements. They would do public talks in the communities about either elder law abuse, some of the basics of estate planning issues, and just kind of put people on notice about what's out there. All that stuff is great. Depending on what the issue is, it may be unfortunately worth a call to the police, or it could be perhaps even just going to the Bar Association. The Bar Association here in Harris County has an elder law committee that I'm on, and we're soon going to be sending it back out. It's a public resource about issues for elders and the things that they face, including things like exploitation and just basic frequently asked questions. All of those kinds of resources are good to both identify the threats as they come and to see cures or fixes for them if they do in fact happen. So I think the key to take away from this is to try to look in early and try to prevent. It's certainly easier to prevent than it is to fix. And think about those three things: having the conversation early, getting involved early. 2, having some planning in a place and security, some protections, some limiters, so that bad things do not happen. And then 3, keeping up to date and knowing where you can go if something does happen. So as always, I feel like I say it a lot in a short amount of time. If you have any questions or comments, by all means, feel free to send them in. I do want to tell you too that unfortunately next week I expect to be doing Kevin's Corner, but I am going to be at the Estate Planning, Guardianship, and Elder Law Conference that's going to be in Galveston, which means I'll probably be in the middle of a session at noon. I will do my best to at least get on quickly and give the quick update. It should be great. It should be a lot of good things to learn and hopefully be able to share with you in the future Kevin's Corner. In the interim, feel free to go to our website, galliganmanning.com. You can see the past videos and stay up to date there. If I can't post a live one, I'll try to put one just cold, if you will, on both our YouTube page, our website, and Facebook if I can. All right. So thank you all very much, and hopefully next week I'll talk to you, and if not, I'll talk to you the week after that.